This is UMAR AHMED for IFL in association with MTK Global. 2 days away from Fight Night at the O2. Wouldn't be a Fight Night at the O2 without Derek Chisora.
Definitely.
Takes on Szpilka. Talk to me about the fight.
Tough fight. Szpilka, tricky southpaw, a guy who's very, very much avoided. Derek also, same sort of thing. He realises, he's got these big opportunities around the corner. His last fight against Haye didn't set the world alight. I don't believe he had the right mindset going into the fight. I think he, just sort of going through the motions and seemed to be happy to just get the win. But at this level, when you're looking at fighting, in big fights against the likes of Joseph Parkers of the world, you need to be performing in a world-class capacity. And I don't believe his last fight showed that, but I believe this fight against someone who's coming to win, someone who's solid and is in shape and he's not looking just to go the distance. This guy wants to knock Derek out, and the feeling's mutual. And Derek's trained very, very hard. Dave Caldwell has took him under his wing in Rotherham. He understands what needs to be done, and Derek has been sparring. Did a lot of sparring for this fight against southpaws, and over the weeks and over the months, he's gradually got to grips with that southpaw style, and he's been having good success. So, coupled that with the strength and conditioning he's been putting into place. The guys at London Shoot Fighter, Ruben and Pete, his team have really whipped him into shape, and he's done everything asked of him. He's trained, the times he's been asked. He's done the rounds of hard, grueling circuits. He's put his body through it, and you'll see it. You can see it in his shape. Compared to last time out, that no corner's been cut, no stone's been left unturned, and that's why I think he seems a bit more relaxed now. He's a bit more cheerful, and he's having a bit of banter, because I think he knows the work's been done. And in the past, when he's been a bit more aggy, is maybe because he wasn't as confident that he's paid the price in training, that he's the best version of himself may not turn up. This time around, he knows he's done everything humanly possible that he can do, and it's just down to how it plays out in the fight. Who's going to be able to apply and implement their game plan to the fullest. And Derek's under no illusions that this is going to be a tough fight. Any way that he wins isn't going to be an easy thing. It's not he walks out there and sort of keeps the guy behind his jab and then takes him out of a combination. That's not Derek's style. Derek needs to impose himself. Derek's, a workhorse. He needs to move that head. He needs to get close. He needs to break the body down. He needs to hit the guy anywhere he can hit him and just turn this fight into a battle of attrition. Because when it comes down to heart, when it comes down to who's willing to dig the deepest, Derek's never been found wanting, and you can't rely on that. But at this stage in his career, he needs a big win against a good, solid, world-class opponent, and this is the opportunity for him. And then, we're looking at the likes of Joseph Parker. Eddie's been quite vocal that Parker's the guy that the fans want to see. He's the fighters that the Sky want to see that, and Derek wants it as well. I was talking to Parker in Vegas, and Parker's like, "Yeah, let's just make the fight happen. We got to do this. That's the fight I want." Derek's an all-out fighter. Let's go. So the pieces of the puzzle are all in place. We just need to get past this tricky Polish southpaw. He's not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do. I've had to fight southpaws, and it's just part and parcel of it. Nobody likes to do it. I've never liked fighting southpaws because they're a bit awkward, and it takes a little bit more preparation, a little bit more mental focus in preparation. You get hit a little more than usual, but that's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do to get the opportunities, and this is why he's here.
I'm glad you've mentioned Joseph Parker's name. I was out in Providence with him when he fought Alex Leopai.
Mm-hmm.
Their guys were very kind of insistent on the fact that they never saw a contract from you guys, and they felt regarding the Chisora fight,
okay,
which was touted for April, I think, this year, and they felt as if you guys were trying to shorten their camp. Can you kind of make a comment on what happened in that negotiation process?
As far as I was aware, Joseph Parker had a deal with Eddie regarding a fight on his show after the fight against Dylan White, and as far as I was aware, we were told that Parker's good to go. So Derek started training, and I assume that was the same situation for Parker. Whether he had a new contract for that specific fight, I believe there was a contract for a set purse, or whatever that may be, agreed as part of the original deal with Dillian Whyte. But if that fight didn't happen, then I'm sure there's a new contract to come into place. But this is all old news. It doesn't really matter anymore. He went and fought Leopai. Derek fought Tsane Nagashi, and here we are. So hopefully it adds a little bit extra spice to it. But we wanted that Parker fight a while ago. Parker team, as you said, felt they were getting rushed into it, and they made that mistake potentially against Dillian Whyte. They took that fight on shorter notice than was ideal for them. Every fight is different. I know me personally, I don't like taking fights on short notice. That's not my ideal. I've been fortunate enough to always seem to be in the driving seat where I've been able to say, okay, I'm fighting on this date, and that's to deal with the TV, and it's all been sorted. But that's whilst I was champion. When you're not champion, you got to do things like what Andy Ruiz Jr. did. He took the fight against Anthony Joshua on 5 weeks' notice, and he won. So Derek's taken fights on short notice in the past. But if there is a fight with Joseph Parker for the end of the year, both fighters will have plenty of notice for it, so it won't be a short notice thing. But it's a shame. I think it didn't happen first time round. Everything happens for a reason. No one's lost any sleep over it, and we'll get to see that fight if it's meant to happen. I think I like Joseph Parker. He's used my gym when he comes to the UK. You've got a great team. Higgins is cool. He's
bit nuts,
coach.
but
yeah, but he's passionate, and he loves his fighters, and he'll do anything for them, and that's what you want. You want someone whose heart's in it. You get too many sort of managers and promoters who treat fighters, like a number, like the cattle, and he truly cares for his fighters, and that's what you want, and that's why they make a solid team. So when they're ready to fight, the fight will happen. Derek's ready to go. He's got a tough fight with this Ruiz-Joshua first, and hopefully you can get past him, and then we can start talking and with plenty of notice, so everybody's in tip-top shape for later on this year at some point.
All being well with Szpilka on Saturday night, do you reckon that Chisora-Parker fight could land on a Joshua Ruiz bill?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. It's a possibility. That'd be a huge night. I think that that'd make a fantastic sort of an addition to an already fantastic talking point of a fight. There's not many people out there that are not going to want to see whether it was a fluke, whether it was an anomaly. The fact that the Man Mountain, the guy who not put a foot wrong as a professional, Anthony Joshua, was bested by someone who appeared so aesthetically unpleasing as Andy Ruiz Jr. did. I'll be ringside for that one. I want to see what happened, because even now you can have theories about what happened, why it happened, what happened in the rematch, but nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened, and we know what happened, but it seems like there's many levels and layers to what could have potentially been the reason, other than AJ taking too many shots. So that's a fight that everyone's going to be interested in. It's going to be about as high profile as a fight can be. So if there's a possibility of an additional added treat with Joseph Parker and Chisora on the undercard, then that'd be fantastic.
Just a quick one on that rematch with Joshua Ruiz. Do you think Team Joshua need to bring anyone in? I'm not saying they have to get rid of Rob McCracken, but just bring someone in for that camp, for that rematch with Ruiz.
I don't know. Only they know. If there was a legitimate reason why they believe things didn't go the way they were due to go, they'll know. Maybe I definitely feel the most important thing that needs to be brought in is more quality sparring. I think Anthony Joshua, going back into a fight, which is going to be a tough, rough fight, he needs to be tough and rough in training. He needs to have tough, rough sparring sessions. He needs to be pushed to the limit. He needs to be the same feeling he had when he's saying in his corner, what's happening. He kind of needs it, not that much, but he needs that same sort of uncomfortableness, to the point where you need a chair in sparring, like in the fight. So you sit down, you've got a minute, and you need to replicate the fight. What's going to happen in the fight? I used to do that. I used to have a chair between rounds because I'd be sparring, really sparring. So you'd sit down between rounds as you're doing the fight, getting your legs ready for it, so you can try to replicate what the fight conditions are going to be like. So he needs a camp which replicates best he can the conditions he's going to be put in front of him, because now he knows. Maybe at first he was unaware of what Andy Ruiz Jr. was going to bring to the table, and now he's aware. Now it's time to really prepare, like maybe he didn't do as he should have done first time round. You don't know what you don't know, and he didn't know what Andy Ruiz was bringing to the table. I didn't know. No one else knew. Now we all know. Now, AJ knows. Let's see what he brings to the table. You know, I believe you find out from a fighter's first loss how he bounces back. You know, after my first loss against Carl Thompson, you know, it was a humbling experience. You know, what I thought I was at the time, what I believed, you know, how good I wasn't. You know, I was a lot of hype at the time, and it took another couple of years of hard work, focused, regular fights before I was then winning world title belts. I wasn't ready for that early doors, and if it wasn't for my first heavy, embarrassing defeat after I was 10-0, I wouldn't have probably ever won the world title. But sometimes you need that little kick up the arse to say, okay, I need to shake things up. I thought I was, you know, pushing myself in training, but clearly I wasn't, because I was unable to push myself through it, because I didn't have the rounds of conditioning. I didn't have the tough rounds of sparring that's required when it comes time for the big event again. When you go toe to toe, when it does become that battle of attrition, as I said, and AJ has a good team around him. He has people who are experienced. He has people who have fought at a high level, and it's all a mental game from here. It's not a physical thing. It's not he doesn't need to do any more squats or any more running, or, you know, he needs sparring. He spars, but it's a different type of sparring. It's the mental sparring where it's hard, that mental sparring where you get headaches afterwards and you think, oh, yeah, am I good enough? Maybe I should. I can't. I didn't win one round of sparring now. I need to. And then you come back with another new game plan, and you get a little bit better. And slowly but surely, at the end of the training camp, all the things you struggled with at the beginning of the training camp, you're now overcoming. It's still tough, but you're overcoming it. This, when that first bell rings, has to be, his whole being has to be comfortable with what Andy Ruiz Jr. is going to put on him, because he's going to put it on him even harder next time. And he needs to be mentally and physically, more importantly, spiritually prepared for the tough night ahead for him.
Okay, David Haye, thank you very much for your time on IFL.
No problem.
Wish you the best of luck with Derek on Saturday night.
Thank you very much.